Hey, welcome back to Movement with Tim. I'm Tim and this is Ollie, and today we're going to do a yoga practice. So if you haven't checked out the movement practice from earlier this week, you want to get out of here? Okay, bye. There's a link right down in the description. You can click that link, do the movement practice first, and then do this yoga video. Or if you've only got 30 minutes today, just practice yoga and practice that another day. Important to incorporate that in your overall physical well-being practice to incorporate some different kinds of movements. Okay, so we're going to start off today in a modified child's pose. So with the knees like hip distance apart, your toes curled under, breathe your spine long and start to stretch your hips back. But instead of sinking into the pose, just see how much your shoulders will allow you to stretch back before you lose the length in your thoracic spine, your middle upper back. For me, I don't get much because I have these really tight shoulders until I start to warm them up. Then come up onto your hands and your knees and bring your right foot up. And then I'm going to use blocks because of the tension in my hips. This will help me to open up my chest better. A little lunge here, take a couple breaths. And then change sides. Bring the right knee back and the left foot forward. As you inhale, start to peel from the chest up. Reach down from your hip, down through your shin. And release. Then come onto the hands and the knees, with the hands right underneath your shoulders and the knees underneath your hips. We'll do cat-cow. Around your back as you exhale. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, come into neutral and hold there without your hips or ribs twisting. Stretch your left leg back behind you. And then send your right arm forward. Rotate the arm externally, turn the tricep down, pull the inner arm back into the socket, and then see if you can lift the thumb higher without the ribs twisting. Set your hand down. Stretch your right leg back behind you. Then send your left arm forward, turn the tricep down, move the arm into the socket, and start to raise your arm up higher without doing it from your upper trap. So if you can't take the arm all the way up in line with your ear, no worries. Lower down, change sides, inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, change sides. Exhale, release. Turn your belly on. Good job. Then come into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Bring your hands onto your hips and come all the way up to stand. As you root down through your left heel, stand tall up over your left ankle. Bring your right knee up without your hips twisting. Hug the knee towards your chest. And then from here, come right into tree pose. A little tricky today. First doing the knee to chest, then heel to the inner thigh. Tricky, tricky. Bring your hands to prayer position. Just a little more balance time on your left leg. Feel where your weight is in your left foot. Heel, big toe mound, little toe mound. Balance in between those 3 points. Imagine your back was up against the wall. Stand tall with the chest open. Release your leg, lower it down, and change sides. Press straight down through your right heel bone as you bring your left knee up. Stand up tall over your left ankle. Hug your left knee in towards you without tucking under. And then bring your heel against your thigh. Join your palms together. Stay balanced over your right foot. Then bring your leg back down and walk up to the front of your mat. From the front of your mat, step your right foot back about 4 feet, big step out. Turn your left toes in slightly, turn your right leg all the way out. Then bend your right knee over your ankle. So today, mostly static poses. Next week, we're gonna incorporate a little bit of flow. Tip from your pelvis out over your thigh, put your forearm down, and as you reach down through your back heel, take your left arm, stretch it all the way over your ear. Inhale, come back up. Turn your feet to the other side. Stretch down through your back heel. Open up your back foot as you bend the knee. Tip your pelvis out over your thigh and put your elbow down. Then lift from your belly up to your chest and reach your right arm all the way over. Inhale, come back up. This round, let's try to go a little bit lower. So maybe put your hand down onto a block or onto the floor behind your foot. Important to feel this Tadasana line through your back ankle though. So as I bend my knee and tip over, I don't want to round my spine over to put my hand down, but instead I want to feel that I can extend and pull myself up through the line of the back ankle. Then reach your left arm all the way over. Inhale, come back up. Turn your feet to the other side. Bend the left knee. Tip from your pelvis. Put your hand down. Now make sure that you have that extension through the spine. It's not hunched over. And take your arm all the way over. Inhale back up. Turn your toes in so your feet are parallel. Step your legs together for a moment and stand tall. All right, now let's practice the transition from triangle into half moon. Separate your legs wide apart. First round, we'll just do a triangle. Then we're gonna add the half moon for the second round. Turn your legs to the right, right foot out, left foot in slightly. Tip from your pelvis out over your thigh. Then place your hand down. Revolve your chest. Take your arm up. Stretch down evenly through your front foot. Lift the belly up to the chest and spin the chest open to the top hand. Inhale, come back up. Turn your feet to the other side. Back foot turns in a little. Left leg turns all the way out. Tip from your pelvis out over your thigh. And place your hand down. Roll the chest up, extend through the back heel. Find your length first, like you're trying to be like pulling yourself away from your hips. And then start to turn your chest. Inhale back up. Turn your feet to the other side. And let's go for balance. Tip from your pelvis out over your leg. Put your hand down. Look down, bend your knees. Stay steady. Hold this length as you slide the hand. Good, then you already got the pose. You don't have to pull up or turn anything. If you lost the length of the spine, find it again. Pin your right hip in. But if you've been doing the movement videos, you're gonna get better and better at that transition. That's really how I developed that steadiness in the transition, the ability to hold the length, just by practicing those exercises that we do in the movement videos. So you'll get stronger from your core and more nimble in your movements. Is that the right word? Nimble? I don't know. Sounds right. Bend your knee and slide back, triangle. Come back up to stand. Turn your feet to the other side. Tip from your pelvis. Put your hand down. Then bend the knee. Keep the length. Hold this length as you go to slide your hand and step up. Good, so then you already got the long spine. Raise the back heel up in alignment with the spine. And then as you firm your hip in, start to spin your chest open. Bend your knee and slide back to triangle. Open up in your triangle. Press through your feet and come up to stand. Then parallel your feet. All 10 toes point straight ahead. Tip from your pelvis and fold forward halfway. Let's use the blocks to get a flat back, unless you can get flat back with your fingertips on the floor. Open up through the four corners of your feet. Expand your chest. Breathe through your nose. Then walk your hands back onto the floor and tip from your hips. Let your head drop towards the floor. Energize through your legs as your feet reach down evenly. Draw from the inner thighs up into the hips and let the sides of the spine lengthen even more. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands onto your hips. Come all the way up to stand. Okay, turn your left foot out and step forward. So this sequence so far has been similar to last week, but we're going to keep adding on, just like we're doing with the movement practice. So let's add on a little balancing pose from Parsvottanasana. First, we'll do Warrior One to open up the front of the back hip. Anchor into your back heel. Slowly start to bend your right knee. So we're just doing Warrior One for the legs. The back heel roots, knee bends, but you're working on stretching this back leg, calf, maybe where it feels tight in the ankle. Just getting that heel fixed into the floor as you start to add movement into the front leg. Then straighten your leg, change sides. Left foot forward, right foot back. Big step back so you can challenge this stretch here. So I'm opening up the back foot's angled in just a little more than 45 degrees. And then slowly start to bend your front knee. As you're bending, keep your back heel anchored. Keep stretching your back leg and your spine tall. And then see if you could bend your knee a little deeper without losing that. Ribs point forward, belly draws up. Then straighten your left leg, step your back foot forward. Okay, now that we stretched out that back leg and front hip a little bit, step your left foot back, and we're gonna go from Parsvottanasana to Warrior Three. Are you ready? Tip from your pelvis and put your hands down onto the blocks. So the first thing that I want you to identify is if you can get a flat back up on the blocks or not. You might need to come up higher or even bend your front knee a little bit, but make sure that it's like I could put a foam roller on your back and it would be totally flat right now. Then once you have that feeling, or you look in the mirror and you can see, slide your hands a foot in front of your foot and we'll do a modified Warrior Three. So it's not a true Warrior Three because my chest is a little below my hips, but we're gonna just feel the length of the neutral spine with the blocks. It'll be helpful to also make sure that the hip is being strengthened properly, that we're not twisting as we're strengthening the hip. So as I press down through all four corners of your right foot, inner and outer heel, big toe, little toe mound, raise your back leg up from the inner thigh and zip up from your belly to your heart, reach your heart forward. And then the last part, without pushing your shin back, tighten your kneecap. Instead of letting the knee drop, pull it up. Bend your knee and come up to stand. If you get really good at that, you could do that at Chippendales with your kneecaps instead of the pecs. Not really, okay. I don't know, maybe some people are into that. Step your right foot back, big step back. People are into anything these days. Tip from your pelvis out over your leg and put your fingertips onto the blocks. Reach down through all four corners of your front foot as you pull the thigh bone up. We'll already practice that Warrior Three action. It's difficult if the quad muscles are too tight to get the quad muscles to fire when the leg is straight. So that'll just take time, but at least you'll have the intention. Stretches that can help that are the low lunge, which we'll practice right after this. Then from here, slide your blocks a foot in front of your foot and raise that back leg up. Balance across your front foot evenly. Raise your back leg up to hip height. Stretch from your belly up to your heart forward. And then pull that inner thigh up into the hip socket without locking your shin back. Better to have a micro bend in the knee than to push back with the shin. Then bend your front knee a little and come all the way up to stand. Stand tall and mountain. Oof, that feels good. Okay, then with the feet hip distance apart, fold forward, put your hands down, let your head drop. Inhale, flat back. Step back to down dog, or take a vinyasa. Do chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Then from down dog, step your right foot up by your right thumb, and let's do that little quad stretch that I promised. So we already did the low lunge, but from here, see if you can bring your heel to your butt. Now if your quads are very tight, this might be too gnarly on your knee. You might not be ready to grab the foot. You can slide the foot against the wall so you work like this angle instead, but I've worked till I can get the hand onto the foot. You might not be able to. Don't force it. We never want to force anything in yoga. Remember that the first rule in yoga, the first suggestion is ahimsa, or non-violence. Then release your foot and change sides. All right, so let's see. Bend the knee. And even there's days for me where it might be tight on one side based on what I did. Like I know this side is super tight today because I got after it yesterday. So I'm just gonna go really easy into it instead of forcing. Don't assume because it was easy on one side that you can just force the other side. That's how we end up injuring parts. Oh man, it feels like a whole different side over here. Okay, then release that. And let's prepare for Bharadvadrasana. We're gonna start to immobilize the ankles a little bit, the feet. So this is a good way to teach the ankles to stretch for Virasana one day. Sit up tall and twist to your right. Come back to center and twist to your left. So the feet position is so that my right ankle is crossed right in the arch of my left foot and the right toes point back. Come back to center. Then take your legs into Upavista Konasana. Sit up tall. And make sure that the sacrum is moving in and up. You're upright over your sit bones. You can take a lift underneath your butt if you're not able to sit like this. All four corners of the knees point straight up and the toes point straight up too. From here, bend your right knee. Bring your heel close to your pubic bone. And then turn to face your left inner leg. Sit up tall. The preliminary pose to folding forward is just to be able to sit upright and have the thighs dropping down. If it feels like your thighs are trying to pull up into you, you're not ready to start going forward. If you feel like the thighs are dropping, then you can start to lean forward. Go ahead and lean forward and maybe grab a hold of your foot with your hand or your shin. Once you get the foot, pull the whole back of the spine in and up. If the whole back of the spine moves well and you can breathe, then you might be able to go further forward and put your head down, go into full forward flexion over the leg. But if you aren't able to move the spine well and get a flat back here, just work that. Come back up, change sides. Bring your heel close towards you and sit up tall. Then start to tip. If you did on the other side, maybe grab a hold of your foot. If you went further on the other side, head down, go ahead and do that. Inhale back up. Then come into Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together, knees apart. Press through the heel, the big toe and the little toe mound, and stretch the inner legs open as you grow the spine taller. Anywhere it feels like you're shrinking your spine, breathe space through there. And release. Okay, then cross your legs in front of you. Put your hands down and start to walk your hands forward. And then maybe rest your forehead on a block or multiple blocks. Inhale back up, change the cross of your legs, and go forward. And come back up and lie down onto your back for corpse pose. And gently bend your knees. Roll over to your side. And press yourself up to seated. Sit up tall with your eyes closed. Just notice the shift, the transformation that comes at the end of the practice. How you arise from Shavasana refreshed, energized. And bring your palms together. Thank you. Namaste. All right, thanks for watching today. Hey, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, leave a comment below, let me know what you thought, and also make sure to take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week for a little bit more flow in the practice. Have a good one.